Hello and welcome everyone. Welcome fellow travelers. I'm doing another past life reading. So going with our angels and our souls into our Akashic records. Today's reading, I'm drawn to do a trip back to either your first soul journey here, or for those of you who are curious, you're going to go back to a time when you had a first soul purpose. So instead of coming down just to explore, you came down with a personal challenge. We don't always come down the first time with a soul purpose in mind, other than, the soul purpose to live an experience, right? In order to choose something for the next round. So I do timestamp below, so you can skip to the group here, the pairing. I have a card and charm that came down together, related to each other. So you might be drawn to the card or the charm, the positioning in the row. If you're drawn to more than one, then that means you're going to receive both a trip back to your first time and a trip to help you with just discovering a soul purpose. Maybe that's what you're trying to do in this present time, and maybe it's connected for you in that way to give you some help. So we'll travel back. If you need more time, please pause the video. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and start here with group 1. And I'll just decide 2, 3, and 4. I do everything on camera. I don't pause. So that's why I offer up the timestamps. Okay. So we'll start with our group number 1 here and traveling into the past. All right. First group to head into the Akashic records with the angels, our souls traveling with us, our guardian angels, and then of course the Akashic record guardians. So, opening those doors for us to give us some details and information. I'm shuffling a lot, so we must be going quite back here. We are going to your first go around, first time visiting, or your first time gifting yourself with a soul purpose to achieve. I'm feeling very structured here. I feel like I'm going to be doing 4 and 4. I'm just going to go ahead with that. I'm going to try to stop fussing so much. I don't know if the need for like very linear, a very kind of structured, maybe more geometric design here. Clearly not abstract or fluid in any kind of way, that's for sure. I'm getting some artistic language here, so perhaps you worked with your hands, or actually I'm getting more mind here, maybe mathematics and the arts. We'll see how this group, how your details come together here, to see if they want to add any charms to the cards as well. No. Okay. I'll just go with it then. Okay, so let me take the timestamp for all our friends that join us now as we leap in here to the reading. Okay, so we're going to start with your charm as we head back to your original purpose, or your original soul journey. And we have a beautiful transparent leaf, my see-through leaf. And for those of you hanging out with me during the gathering of the cards and the intro, I was getting the use of the mind, so a very creative or analytical thinker. Your mind's working here, and then here we have a leaf that looks like it could be the right and left hemisphere. So it could be a blend of both. Those of you who used your, I want to say, I guess, higher intellect group, your higher functioning, either on the right or left, to either be, quite impactful with your creative art that you produced. We'll see what that was. Or you were in like the maths and the sciences group here in terms of like inventors. So again, creators. So creators, I guess, is what's unifying this group. Creators. Okay, and your card. Well, here we go. Star Seer. Yeah, look at you. Look at you creating. I always love it when we get a card that shows you, actually can help you visualize going into the Akashic records here with your angels. This is a pretty good depiction of the scale too, of the guardians that are by the door. Quite large in scale, quite grandiose in scale. I don't think large is the right word, but again, we have the Star Seer. So here we have the emphasis on the crown, on your mind, your ability to, again, with your hands, your output here. So you must have been very strong in translating your thoughts. So if you were in the maths and the sciences, you were someone who really truly helped the inventors group, people to see your vision, people to embrace maybe a new formula, embrace a new discovery, right? Help them understand, help them comprehend. And then if you were in the creators in terms of the arts, what you were producing helped people, again, I feel, to understand. So maybe comprehend the story, right? So if we're going all the way back, this could be like hieroglyphs paired with the waterway systems, right? So we had kind of the birth of communication with the birth of math and engineering, and a strong emphasis on artistic output as well. So we'll kind of just use that as a reference point. I'm not saying that you all met and were working together in that time and place, but we'll see. We'll see what comes out here. So I'm just going to make a note that this is our creators group. Your purpose was to create, I guess maybe create and communicate, right? Because there's a strong emphasis on you communicating, your ability to communicate to the communities, right? Get the community on board. Okay. Where should we start here? Oh, let's go up. We'll just go very structured like you guys are. Actually, now that I see, these are columns, right? The way temples would be built. So we are definitely back in sort of ancient periods, right? Even if this is ancient Greece times, Babylonia, they all had temples with the need for columns. And again, that's engineering, an engineering feat, right? Masters of creation, masters of invention. Okay. I can't get over the emphasis here on your magical abilities with your high intellect here, right? And your ability to connect others within the community. So you may have been somebody who also was had kind of a mastery at negotiation, right? Negotiating for your price, negotiating to get like-minded people around the table, getting people to agree. Look at the emphasis on all the brains here. I know these are my zombie cards, but see the group of intellects? This is all you guys. Everyone watching right now, everyone drawn to this card, you're all high intellectual beings. You're all creators, inventors. And then look at the mastery on communication. Your ability to translate that so people understand, people get behind you. if you're wondering what your soul purpose is, or what your original soul purpose is, I think it's pretty clear as day here. Okay. Going down. What other details can we get for your period here? So they're really drawing me to the left side here, sort of the way she's kind of crawling in that help me gesture, and then back here, sort of the aid that is being provided. I mean, I think it's zombies eating her, but it's, to me, it's being read as like aid being provided. And see how you're highlighted here? So whatever you were creating, whatever you were inventing, was for the benefit of others. This could be like early in the intro, I said coming up with new formulas, discoveries, right? Like the uranium discoveries and insulin discoveries. So that's like energy, healthcare, right? With lightning bolts here in the sky. Even they're pulling me into the translation of the black and white to color as well. So we are staying within this medium of inventors. So this would be television, but also artistry, the invention of paints and the beginning use of paints. But back here we have beautiful inks. So like birth of newspapers, right? Birth of documenting records. So we have quite an eclectic group here where your first time, maybe that's why I wasn't going to lock in on Egypt here. And here we had like maybe ancient times. Because for some of you, younger souls, it looks like your first time around would have been around like time periods where we had those inventions, like the first newspaper, printing press, the first, energy light bulb, the discovery of those medical and other kind of chemicals that are in natural resources. But everything was for, even if you were just doing like artwork, in your artwork, you're trying to communicate what's happening, right? You were recording that you were going through a period of starvation or a plague, right? A record keeping. Very intelligent. Probably before your time, like we get a lot of, like if you're into art history, a lot of historical artists and sculptors, they get praised for the way they documented and captured stories, sort of kind of risking their fate. You would fall into that group, like publishing something under a what are they called, surnames, or surname. Oop. Wow, this one kind of jumped out of my hand here. Helicopter taking off, that's why. Okay. Well, this just feels like the star again, with the blades here, and your ability to see from a higher perspective. You're just a visionary, right? Again, your higher intellect here, your creative mind in terms of solutions. Again, your ability to translate complexities. They all come from this ability to kind of see the bigger picture, see from a higher view. And again, look how they're patrolling and caring for others below. You may have had this really strong leadership role, because it keeps resonating here. This authoritative, maybe you were like the head of a board, the head of the science community, right? When they started to form and come together, you may have been one of the founding individuals as part of that. Establishing some kind of program, maybe a support program, because we saw that here, or some kind of hospital protocol to this day might be still named after you, right? I'm just trying to think of like some examples here, like things that are like, for example, here. So what's coming to mind is here in Canada. So Alexander Graham Bell and his connection to the invention of the telephone and the first kind of telecommunication. Like, to this day, his last name, Bell, is still on buildings. It's still on a company name. It's still connected to telecommunications. So that's what they're trying to show me here, is sort of this longevity. Because you can see we're going from older times and we're getting closer to modern times. So a profound enough impact on society that you were establishing, like I said, a society, a group, a board of directors, a program, an invention. This could be like a hospital tower here that is still standing today, a business tower that is still standing today with your name on it. Okay. Now we're getting into some very bright colored, beautiful colored family time here. This is nice to see. Higher status, as I was just talking about, sort of the legacy here, right? The succession, right? So the old money, I guess, is one way that we refer to it as well. Royal families are also an example of generation after generation after generation of sort of this DNA, right? This group of visionaries that can have a significant impact for the betterment of others. They keep reinforcing this high degree of care for others, solutions, greater solutions for all, green. I don't know if you, present day, are working in kind of an environmental space or you're very environmental conscious, but they're definitely giving me environment here. But we're getting more and more closer to scenery here, imagery that would be related to modern times today. You established a really nice kind of legacy here. All right. Yeah, you stand really high on kind of like your moral ground. Those of you today might be drawn to some kind of servitude. So right away with the axes in his hand there, I always see like firemen. So some kind of community service like that. You might be drawn to politics, right? Because some more of the city mayor, city council, maybe state, province, depending where you live, but a dedicated region. CEOs is another example where you're responsible for a large community, a large group. You could be a union leader, a supervisor of some kind, but you spike high on care still. With him standing in front of the young youth here, the child, high degree of care in your kind of profession here. But it's part of your personality. If I'm going to use my intellect, my output is always going to be for good. But who knows? Maybe you're a hacker online helping those anonymous groups go after like scammers, etc. Like you'll be naturally drawn to a space where you feel the output of helping. Even if you're a general laborer, you would be like a landscaper, a construction worker who's like building homes, right, to give shelter for people. So you see the collective benefit of doing good because of the legacy here. You just feel it in your bones. You just know that the more I do good, the sort of more successful my own soul journeys are, lifetime after lifetime, but so is the legacy that I'm leaving behind. It has like for those of you who know Doctor Who, this feels like a Doctor Who-esque energy, right? Because he would land, he just kind of wants to discover, like souls want to do, right? He just wants to kind of discover the next planet, the next lifetime, but he always ends up helping to save a community, save a group, save a planet. You just can't, it's just part of you, it's ingrained in you. Oh, victorious. Look at that. In the papers. You know, this just encourages you to do like your ancestry, your family tree, because they're really communicating strongly here that your name is still out there in the records, or you're gonna, there's something that exists today that we can put our hands on it, or see in a museum, like a tablet, right? That you etched. There's a painting in a gallery. There's a sculpture. There might be a tapestry even still hanging in a castle that all of us are still looking at and enjoying. So you have you're well known, but you're also meant to be known. You're just also that kind of personality. You're a bright shining star here, right? The star seer. So even if you're shaking your head going, no, Ashley, I'm an introvert, I think you would be surprised, even in your introversion, how much people notice you, how much you radiate. Just because you're an introvert doesn't mean that you haven't been recognized or recorded for your efforts, for your contributions. But I feel like there's something tangible that, like, if you were to do some research into your lifetimes, your family lineage, you might stumble upon yourself, some records, what you've created, or you might be connected to someone in your family tree that has a profound record, and that might actually be a previous lifetime with your soul group. Okay. I'm loving this reading group one. Hope you guys are too. Oops, upside down. I don't know why I flipped it up the other way. Okay. Oh, look at that. Wasn't I just talking about reconnecting with yourself? So here you are. You're kind of having a conversation with self. A way to remind yourself, hey, this is your soul purpose. Hey, this is how, maybe there's a challenge today. Like this feels like a one-on-one conversation that we have with a mentor, right? A confidant, a therapist. But I feel like you're saying like, oh, I've hit a block. I really want to do this and I can't seem to get it to come to reality or to fruition. And then they start to say, well, here's how you did it last time. Here's how you were victorious. This is what I meant when I drew that or I said that. This is why I recorded the words in this way. This is how I got this group together of like-minded people so that we could move things forward. Interesting. They're encouraging you to have a conversation with yourself, but it's in the records. Like actual physical records you could touch, not the Akashic records we're in right now. Okay. Look at you having your epiphany here. You connected with yourself, your soul, who you were. Your first, right? Very indigenous, primitive card that they chose here, confirming for you that this was your first kind of original soul purpose. So if you're struggling, if you need to return back or you need some guidance, you could always fall back to this soul purpose of kind of creating for good, right? Standing your ground for good, rallying troops together to do something great for a community. You are a leader, right? Because I want to call the priestess, well, she's a priestess, but also like a chieftain, a leader, right? Authority. We're all sitting here looking at her, waiting for her to do what? Storytell to us, communicate to us, guide us. So we're back to the communications here. Strength in communication. So speak, write, compose, create, right? Document, share. That's your purpose. Create and then share. What a great lifetime that was. That was so much fun to go through here. And we ended up back in ancient times, right? So a nice little crawl back out of the past life here. Wonderful little trip with you all. I'm just going to take my quick notes here before I go into group 2. I'm going to write create, invent, share, purpose. Wonderful purpose. Okay, so thank you for coming for another journey together. I'm just going to set up for group 2 if you were drawn to the second card as well. And then you're also part of that group. Also another soul trip you took down. So there'll be insights in there for you as well. So now we got our group 2. All right. So group 2, what we're going to do is get some cards first. The cards will help elaborate on the original past life, your first go around, if that's what you're interested in finding out and knowing. And or it'll help you with uncovering and discovering what your original soul purpose was, or that'll help you connect to, as we saw in the first group, if you're kind of struggling present day on figuring out like, what do I do next? You can always fall back onto the roots, right? The foundation of your original soul purpose. So let's get into getting your cards that are going to go along with your charm and primary card here that will kick us off. Let's head back into the records now, this time with your angels and your souls guiding us back. See how far back we're going to go here. I don't feel like I need to shuffle too long actually with this group. That doesn't mean we're not going back far. It just means we're already nicely connected. Guardians are holding the doors to the Akashic records open here for us. Interesting kind of playful pattern they're making me feel like I want to create here, sort of the triangle down and a triangle up. And we all know when we put those on top of each other, that's our pentagon for powers of manifestation. Trying to see if I can get that look like a bit of fuzziness here on the camera. There we go. Okay. Could be 2 passing ships, actually, now that I'm looking through the camera, sort of seeing the view that you guys see. Kind of the shape of the front helm of the boats. We could be out on the water with you guys. Let's see where we're going here. Okay, so the French fries was the charm. So this is you with a collective group of people. Maybe that's why I suddenly saw the boats. So maybe this is like your comrades, right? All the other sailors, all the other could be hunters. These are canoes. We're going all the way back to more primitive times where we were actually sailing to fish, and it wasn't for territorial conquering. But you're definitely you're definitely part of a collective here, a strong collective, not to mention everyone watching, coming back together, seeing the last time you were together. So for a purpose. You were meant to be part of this group. So you're meant to be part of a group. We'll kind of see where that leads there. Okay, so you got the portal keeper. And I was just talking about the helm of the ship, and so I believe that's the captain of the ship, right? That's at the helm. Now they're pulling me to this stone up here, and they're starting to play in my head. I've been watching a lot of there's a channel. There's actually a couple channels, Roku and Moxie, on YouTube that I enjoy watching. Chinese Tomb Raider, adventure mystery movies. They're fantastic, and all the different kind of traps and kind of monsters, creative monsters that they see. But anyways, that's what they're playing here for me, is sort of this. I want to mine for that rock. I want to go find this specific rock. So this could be the early days of mining for gold, mining for nickel, uranium, anything that might be precious here, diamonds, which is interesting because you're on a boat, but they don't, I was going to say pearl, you're all probably saying pearl, but they don't want me to say pearls. I don't see you diving, I see you mining, but maybe the boats are to transport, like to courier it. I want to lean more into gold, maybe gold, emeralds, kind of anything that would fall in jewels, I guess. So rubies, opals, diamonds, gold, emeralds, jade. So I think we're into the trade of rocks, right? Jewelry, stones are referred to as rocks. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe this is the boat transport, like back in the Silk Road, back when trade was starting, right? The first international trade was starting, the first sharing of jewelry and craftsmanship. We would be part of that group, right? The group of tradesmen and procurers, craftsmen as well, the ones putting it all together, and the salespeople, right? The ones selling it to the highest bidders, the wealthiest. So a specialty community, right? Specialty in mining for precious stones, putting them together in beautiful wares and goods, and selling them off. Maybe in present day, you find yourself naturally attracted to maybe investing in gold, wearing jewelry, shiny things catch your eye, sparkly things catch your eye. Or you might be in that trade now. You might find yourself somewhere in sort of that line. Okay, so sort of transportation, kind of leading the helm. So maybe that was your primary role in this. You were connected to this community, but your primary role was the sort of logistics, king, queen of logistics. So let's get into some details here for you. Okay, does that not look like every movie you've ever seen of like going into the back room of a jewelry store, right? And you always have that one person that pokes out from the back room, the safe room, where they're either cutting the stones. Obviously, this could be a heist happening, like we just recently had at the Louvre. But here you are popping out of the kind of back room. Wood also is bringing me back to the ships as well. And he does have the longer coat here, and the captain would have private quarters as well, and his own protection too, obviously on the ship. So definitely reinforcing your important role, but it's like there's a quietness to you. So you must have guided with a quiet leadership, a quiet authority, quite reserved. I definitely see you kind of locking yourself away often. You know, if you're the captain, you're spending time with your strategy versus with your crew. You're spending time with your stones versus front of house with the jewels and the patrons. That kind of um, function in terms of leadership, quiet leadership they're showing me here. Okay. So it's interesting that when I'm looking at the headgear here, where they pulled me first, I feel more like you're taking measurements. So this could be measurements for a crown, right? The circumference to make sure the banged out gold or metal, whatever is used for the inner ring here, fits well. Could be the circumference for a necklace or how far down some earrings should hang. So there's planning as well, similar to the maps. This would be planning routes. But that's where your focus is. That's where, similar to this card here, this is where your attention goes. The right plan. You want the right plan in place before you tackle anything. So that might be a trait that you see yourself now. One way this translates, I have a wonderful girlfriend, and when it comes to her family trips or larger family trips where like the grandparents and like aunts and uncles join as well, like she's right on top of the planning. She needs to know the destination, the hotel, some of the activities. That's how she navigates. So you might be similar in this lifetime in terms of the planning, but there's such deep, purposeful focus here on getting the right logistics, getting just the right measurements. I mean, you could be an architect or anything that engineer, right? Engineer, anything that requires precise precision. I mean, it could be medical professional, like a surgeon, where you have to be very precise. So, like plastic surgeries, we kind of see here, or any kind of surgery. You must have very stable hands. I do not. I have shaky hands, but you must have a very stable hand. Okay. Now I'm back to this treasure hunter because they're showing me X marks the spot. The outfit that they're showing me feels, if you ever watch like the Jack Hunter series or Indiana Jones. So again, I'm back into this like adventurer kind of outfit gear. Higher pants as well is reminiscent of the sailors, I think, in I'm trying to think of the movies that I see, I guess 20s and 30s movies. The pants were a little shorter because of the water on deck, right? So we're back to being on the boat and adventure, exploring. So you might have an adventurous spirit as well, something that can't lock you down in terms of your purpose. Your purpose is to explore, dissect, look closely, investigate. I mean, you'd be fantastic at like a forensics job here, clearly. But yeah, looking at maps closely. But there's exploration and discovery. That's what pulls you in. It's the wow, it's the plausible, right? I'm a huge fan of the Oak Island crew. Rick. I love Rick so much, but that's what they're showing me here. Like this would be Rick, right? This is his passion to explore and get answers, and he's always amazed. He's got that very profound logical engineering mind as well, right? Let's be safe, let's be precise, let's plan before we dig, let's plan before anybody goes down, and they're looking for jewels. So, it's that kind of energy here. Your role might be that important, right? You might be the individual who's responsible for all of that site security before people go in, right? You might be someone who's responsible for testing a product before it goes out, because this is really high quality assurance. So this is like being on an automobile line, being someone who tests like amusement park rides before the park opens, right? So a bit of an adrenaline junkie, because you got to be a lot stronger than I am to be willing to take that on. Like this could even be a stunt double, right? Someone who does that kind of work. Okay. That's all present day translation of that. Okay. I haven't had this card in quite a while, so let's see here. What are they using it to translate? I was just talking about stunt doubles, and then here we have like a car chase kind of aftermath scene, right? Or like a storm has rolled through here. I feel like they're saying this is what you try to prevent. That's kind of like your sole purpose, is you want to prevent the disaster. So again, the planning, the emphasis here on preciseness, right? If an earthquake just came through, you don't want any of your towers to fall. If a hurricane just came through, you're the search and find and cleanup crew, and then you plan to put in a levee or something. Like you have a lot of like preventative planning here. I was just checking this if any of you were thinking paranoia, you're not in that realm. Like you're not you don't plan chronically out of an area of paranoia in terms of a fear of safety, but you just want to make sure everything goes as planned, exactly as planned, right? You could be an event planner, but that's just part of your personality. It's for everybody. They're drawing me back here to jewels with the traffic light, the red, yellow, green. So I'm back to the ruby, gold, emeralds here. Obviously lights as well, so the sparkling, the lighting up. Trying to see why they want to emphasize jewels again for you guys. Sorry. I don't know how this resonates to, like I know there's like family rings, and you can do like birthstones. They're showing me like they're bringing me to family and stones. So I don't know if you've had a tragedy in your family, and that's why you also plan, or if you're wondering why you have such a heightened like why you index higher. Maybe that's how I want to say it. You index higher on a personal need to have everything considered and thought through. Maybe in this original lifetime, you had this family tragedy here. And so that's something you're trying to avoid lifetime after lifetime. Or it could have been a disastrous tragedy. As I pulled back, we have quite a disastrous tragedy in the Canadian history related to sailors. The ship blew up, and the impact did impact up the city street. I can't remember it all. It's been such a long time since I've seen the Heritage Canada commercial or read it, but there was quite a profound hero on that day, a significant hero or heroes that they were calling out. So that's connected. So you're kind of in that energy. So you would have been this captain, right, that foresaw and did as much as you could to get as many survivors as you could from this massive tragedy. And that's why in this lifetime and lifetimes since then, some of your soul purpose here has been to anything and everything you can do to protect those you love, family, friends, colleagues, comrades, right? Heightened focused here on planning, quality assurance, everything is in the right place for safety measures. Okay. Okay, so here's you obviously caring for your loved one, but we'll see what this translates back. Now they immediately drew me to the gold here, the bangle on her forearm, and she's smiling and looking down at it. So there's this sense of victory. It's like a little gift to herself. I don't know why I feel like she's looking down and she's enjoying this little gift to herself. This, it's, how we have things when we look at it, it serves up memories, right? So this could be a medal, since we came off of this major disaster that you were, you were quite heroic in. So when you look down, maybe you have some kind of piece that reminds you. There's this beautiful memory here. It's also could be just your angels as well. They always like giving one card that smiles back at you to say thank you so much for connecting in and wanting to connect in with a lifetime here. But I think this is maybe that's why I'm sitting here a little bit. But there's like maybe a special little star coming in, right? The little rock, a little precious gift coming into you here. You seem quite happy and content. There's a little joy that's coming in. You definitely found joy in this lifetime after disaster, that's for sure. So if, say this is a loss of a husband, this is finding love again, right? Another match. Okay. Ooh, party. It just keeps getting better. Just keeps getting better. Everybody's celebrating, everybody's waving at you. I almost feel like this is all your fallen comrades from this past lifetime, right? Where you learned you developed this soul purpose. You chose that moving forward, you'd always have a soul purpose of making sure you think through everything so people stay safe, have a good time. Because I feel like this is all your comrades kind of waving at you, like, hello, great to see you again. We're all good. Excuse me. Like they're throwing you kind of this welcome party where they didn't wait for you to dive into the feast yet, right? Let's see here. Let's go beyond just the welcome party, though. Obviously, it's nice that they're saying hi to you. I mean, for some of you in this group, I don't know why I keep getting pulled to a loved one loss here, but I don't know if you've lost. If you're someone who feels like I've lost a lot of people in my lifetime, well, in your original lifetime, and maybe that's something that is repeating for you, is this tragic loss of a lot of people. But look at you. You always have a loving companion. You're never without, right? We might not be there physically, but you're not without. So one is as wonderful, right? She has one bangle here. One is as wonderful as many when the love is this strong, right? When the support is this strong. When the energy is this kind of positive. Because here you are again, kind of solo, right? Solo, doing your thing. So I think this is kind of where they want to end it. I think for those of you in this group, you just needed a celebration, a recognition of who you are, and how wonderful that you care so much for the safety of others. So again, if you just need to fall back on our original purpose or start somewhere, it's just planning. Start with planning, become more focused on how you're conquering things throughout the day, or focus on your goals, and then get bigger to a broader community. All right. The group of planners. Planners and like safety captains, I guess. Adventurers also, right? Adventure explorers. Okay. Thank you for traveling. I'm going to transition into group 3 here. So if you were drawn to group 3, you can just hang in. We'll get started, or I'll see you next time. We're over in group 4. Okay. Group number 3, drawn to the 3rd card, maybe the golden trumpet here. Oh, I guess I should hold it the right way. The golden trumpet. The angels were playing some music here, so this might be a fun read that they're already excited about if they're playing music. Okay, so let's just get into your cards. And let's see where we're going with this group. Let's see. Original trip around the soul journey, or original purpose, or some help to understand what your foundational purpose is in this lifetime. If you're at a sticking point, sometimes we get there. We have an interesting kind of cascade down here, stairs down. I'm just moving these over because they don't want the card there. I'm just trying to make sure it's all camera as best as I can. Okay. And we want this one here. Okay. Whatever the pattern is here, let's see. Not really getting too much beyond the original staircase here down, but it's this card here that they threw me off, placed underneath, in terms of kind of a bit of a hill. Maybe it's a doorway on a hillside that we kind of see in like fantasy tales, like hobbits and fairies. Maybe we're going back to a time period where you were part of a community with that belief. So like druids and I don't know, maybe Vikings. I don't know who lived in the side of a hill. Okay. Starting with your horn here. So in the intro, I was saying how this is kind of angels playing music. So excited, happy to see you. Really glad you're coming back. Maybe this is a time period that they don't get to travel to often. They don't get requests to come back. But there's definitely some musicality here connected to you. So you might be an audiophile these days. You might work in the entertainment industry. You might be a musician. You might own a club, right? You might be a part of a venue, work at a venue, but or in a place where the radio is always playing. Okay, freedom. Oh yeah, okay. So we've got flexibility, adaptability here with the dragonfly. That's 4 wings. It can easily kind of adjust. Pretty easygoing spirit in general. It's quite beautiful. Also, this dragonfly depiction looks very much like an angel with the multiple eyes and the multiple wings. We have your guardian here, your guardian angel saying hello, being the one that welcomes you at the gates. As we go back here, they're just pulling me into the bubbles here. So I'll give you guys a second to talk with your guardian angel here while I figure out why he wants me to look at wants me to look at the bubbles here. So I don't know if these are stage lights. You know, like back in the day, they used to have like half shells to help deflect the light back. Maybe they still do that on stages along the front here. So the light pushes back on the performer. So this could be, again, musician, dancer, you know, has a nice ballerina-esque softness, or just kind of ballroom, or any kind of show. Even like Cirque du Soleil kind of fits in this right now with me. But I do see some like performance, but I like the freedom, right? The freedom of dance. We could be going back to gypsy times, because maybe this is a caravan. The side, like the half, and this is the tent. They're trying to show me that there's a door here, but it's arched, right? And then there's a door in it. So it could be the wooden frame and the cloth of a caravan. Sort of a traveling circus, right? Tents and doorways. So performance, music, performing. An ample degree of freedom, but I'm equating the freedom to kind of travel and move about, to see different things, not so much exploration like I saw in the last group. I'm just going to make a note here about maybe performers. I'll just put performers. Creators, planners, performers, we're up to now. I was going to start at the door, but no, we're going to go down the cascade here first. Okay, so we've got a bit of a juggling act here. So I think we're going to lock in on you being part of a performing group or part of the entertainment society at the time, wherever we're traveling back to, because we are going back, right? So say this is like either ancient times or Roman times, or you know, any kind of a period where there would be like a ruler, where they would have entertainment come through the community, the castle, the hired for their events, right? Kind of see him playing a variety of instruments. Maybe he's part of the troupe that's putting on the play. Maybe he has various roles, right? Maybe you have various roles. He's kind of juggling a bunch of priorities here as well. So maybe that's how you feel in today's world. You know, maybe you're someone that can say that I'm an expert multitasker. I'm able to hold a bunch of balls in the air and know sort of the status of everything. You know, that makes you like a really strong like project planner, makes you a strong chef even, or a baker, right? There's always so many things that need to happen and go on at once. So it doesn't necessarily mean entertainment industry alone, but I see that you've got, or had, you both have now or had then, a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things that were on your task to do, that you were responsible for. Okay. So this feels like an announcement before you come to town. I know I'm being led a little bit because I was already in sort of the circus entertainment venue here, but this feels like those old papers that would get painted up. Even a scroll, it feels like, you know, these are the hands holding a scroll that's been open to announce an upcoming visit of this touring group, right? Don't forget the freedom here. So this touring group, so you're being announced before your arrival. So you might be in a profession now that has a similar thing, where you know, invitations are sent out first, notices are sent out first before you kind of show up. Okay. So here's the event, right? We're clearly at a wedding. So here's you showing up. Here's people watching you, right? Again, this is the bride. All attention's on her. So we're back to that stage. All eyes on you. You have like your sole purpose is to attract attention, but let's see for what reason, right? You perform, you announce your arrival, you attract attention while you're here, but why? Why is your purpose to attract attention? What do you deliver back? What's the giving back? What's the sole purpose through having our attention on you? Okay. So there's like this mediation here that's kind of happening, right? We're going to unite, to help communicate what's going on. So going back to the touring groups that would go through villages and through, or to events, right, in the castles. It was all about telling the story of what's actually happening, right? Being the ones to communicate to the villagers what's happening inside the walls, and inside the walls in a as safe as you can be so you don't get thrown in jail, telling them what's happening out in the streets, right? So maybe it's famine, maybe it's war coming to the territory. Maybe they're celebrating a feast here, telling about a feast. Maybe they're sharing a mythology, right, of a great battle, David versus Goliath, kind of entertaining Shakespearean tale, maybe. So you like to share the important stories. That's why you want all attention on you. So in today's world, you might be, if you're not on stage, you're on screen in some kind of way. So social media influencer, a journalist, a key speaker at some kind of conference circuit in order to, maybe you work for the World Health Organization. Like, you would be somewhere where you have a key role in communicating down, hey, this is what's going on. You might have a really strong head for data analysis. What's that practice called? Where you immerse yourself into people's worlds. I want to say anthropology, but that feels wrong. I don't know. You might be someone that, like, because you're so world traveled, right? You might spend time in a third world country and then relay back, hey, this is what the community actually needs. This is what's actually going on. But you're using your notoriety, right? You're using your, I know everybody pays attention to me. I've got your attention, so I'm going to use it to relay. Okay, so here's the doorway. Here's your magic, right? She's in the practice of divination right now. So here you are. Here's the validation that you're good at numbers, reading the data, seeing the signs. You might be an economist, right? They're good at those predictive models. Yeah, there's a foresight here that you bring, and you know that this is information that needs to be brought to the light, right? She's got a huge bonfire here going under the full moon, so bright light, trying to shine a spotlight on the issues, shining a spotlight on what matters. If you do have a role like a therapist, this is you managing, right, all your clients, but you have the ability to focus them on what matters, right? I feel like you have a bigger role though, more important role with the bride here, and the people knowing that you're showing up, people knowing you're coming. And then, of course, they sit and listen, right? We're all sitting here staring at the card, waiting for the profound wisdom, waiting for that insight. Maybe you're on a TED Talks circuit. Maybe that's why, or like the union, or not the union, the UN, the union, the UN. Like, like I said, the World Health Organization. Like you're somewhere quite significant, right? You're at the top. You have a voice, and you recognize that, so you're using it, right? You know that you have influence, but your sole purpose is, I'm going to use my influence for good, and your for good is, I want to share the reality of what's going on. I want to make sure human stories are getting out. I want to make sure, there is no family drama within my family. Like you're not someone that's going to shy away from conflict, right? You might be a journalist in a war zone right now, documenting for us, communicating back to us, relaying those stories. Maybe that's why the angels came down with the horn, because this is them showing recognition of you, right? The victory. They love that you are helping society globally. I do want to put you on an international stage here. A very well-traveled individual, even if it's just across your community. You're someone that goes into those neighborhoods that everybody else is saying, don't go there, right? You're someone who's like, I don't care. I'm going to go everywhere. Maybe you document. Maybe you're a director, documentarian, but the angels are very, very proud of you. And they love that you came down, and they love that you have this focus on freedom. So angel greeting you at the door, angel celebrating you, people knowing who you are, and you using your platform for good, right? It's so easy to use a platform this big, right? Look how big these platforms are for negative, but you don't. You use your platform for good. Amazing. Awesome. All right, group number 3. What a fantastic soul purpose you have. We need all of you around. You must be older souls in order to be already so wise from the very get-go, that I'm going to use my status for good. I'm just writing that down in my notes, so for the timestamps. All right, thank you for joining me and traveling. And we'll see you in the next one, or we'll see you in group number 4 if you were drawn to group number 4. All right, final trip today into the Akashic records. Going back to first time and original soul purpose. Okay, group number 4. Let's get into getting your cards here. Let's see, where are we going with our final trip today? Oh, we're already saying grab some cards here. All right, I was teasingly thinking in my head, oh, they're trying to rush us out, right? When the store's closing, when the museum's closing, you start to get ushered out, but that's not what they're doing. They just wanted to get those cards out fast, right away. Okay. See here what they're doing with this. Pairing. Oop, oop. Oh my gosh, what's with my hands? Suddenly I can't. Either that or the angels are really eager, because we saw them flip those 2 cards right away, and now my hands are getting shaky. I'm dropping the cards as I'm trying to pull them out the way they want me to pull them out here. I feel like they want to fill this little gap here. Okay. So 2, 1, 1, 2. Kind of feels like those Tetris, right? The L and the L, putting them together, or a really kind of primitive, simple version of like a lock open, unlocked. There's like this fitting together, but they clearly have it open right now. A lock and unlock. Like two like, you know, sometimes we wear those watches that have like the snap, kind of flat snap that sticks into each other, or briefcases. We have those locks that snap in together, right? The closure comes down and snaps in. For some reason, I'm here in sort of this connector, but right now we're open, but it's supposed to connect. So maybe that's what connects all of you. It's all of you are connectors. We've had creators, planners, performers. Maybe you guys are connectors. Let's make a note now. Maybe that's what it is. We'll see when we get into the cards. Okay, let's grab the timestamp here for everyone that pops in now. We'll get into it. Okay. Starting with your charm here, they put the graduation day. So this is in a past life reading. This is a sign of yes, literally academic. So philosopher, an educator, a professor, a teacher. You could be part of a religious institution, right? Because they known for their hats and their documenting, right? The Bible and the teachings. So we're kind of in this space of dialogue and documentation. Where did we start with? Connectors. Okay. Okay, unique gifts. Interesting. So we are doing a original soul purpose reading. And here we are with unique gifts. Very emotional card with my blue hues here. So no wonder you're kind of thinking things through, right? The knowledge gain, the wisdom gain, and then the documenting here, the star on the hand from the heart. So, you know, if you were an author for some reason, I'm feeling sort of the Jane Austen-esque wardrobe here, and I know her story in terms of why she was writing her stories and telling her stories. Mark Twain is another great example of traveling and using his literature to tell the stories of what he was observing, the wisdom he was gaining, sort of the knowledge. So again, we have you very much observing, watching, and then documenting the writing here. Now they're transitioning me also to the geishas as well, or just sort of the lady of the house, maybe is what I should say. You were kind of around. Maybe you weren't the key role, but you were the one watching, observing, and then you documented it. Even if you weren't female, this would be like you having an assistant kind of role, right? Where you would be privy to private meetings, you would witness, and then you would document. Present day, you might be like working in law, education, research, any kind of research that requires ongoing learning. There's a pretty high degree of science here as well. You might be in the lab. Well, that's research. That's research. Okay, let's see, where do we want to start here? maybe down here at the bottom. I'll kind of go up. I'll kind of follow the path like I'm locking the two pieces together. Oh, that was right side up. I don't know why I keep flipping these ones. I keep thinking the words are on the bottom. Okay. Look when I place this. Look how the finger is pointing right to the charm here. The hat that you're wearing, right? The profession that you're in. And you've got a singular wand here, the Ace of Wands in your hand. So again, we're back to the documenting. We're back to a quill in the hand, pen in the hand, test tube in the hand. Could be the scroll as well, right? With the philosopher. Well, that's writing, that's pen, that's quill. And your unique gifts. So your powers of observation and probably your powers of words. So you're probably really great at poetry, writing lyrics, writing academic papers, writing editorial pieces, pieces of content, like words, written words with you seems pretty profound. Even if you're like in a high, like a little bit of a lighter role in terms of like writing content, like say you're doing like ad slogans. I still feel like if that's your profession at home, you would have a journal. Writing seems to be a pretty profound outlet here with you guys. Note taking. Ugh, come on. Putting what you see, right, the bullseye. You're able to get to the root. You're able to drill down to the nugget, to the insight. Oh, now we got bullseye and bullseye, two bullseyes. So so I went quiet because they're pulling me first to the swords here, and they're saying the placements are important. The two stars, and we have two on the red lines here. So the red and gold stars. I don't know if they're trying to draw me to a part of, I feel like they're trying to draw me to like a flag that would have red and gold in it, and maybe a star or stars are attributed to this country's flag as well. It appears on it, but for some reason they're trying to bring me to this red, gold, or a country that has a star in the flag, and red and gold are attributed to that culture a lot. Trying to think of flags. I don't know what really comes to mind on that, unfortunately. Oh, so you know how I was saying you may have been just like an assistant, someone who's quietly standing there. You might have just been the partner of, right? But you always had to be present or you were privy to. Because they're showing me the movie Aladdin. I was looking at the shape of the sword handle here, and they started playing the movie Aladdin, where Jafar, right? He was the sneaky, quiet consultant, the advisor, right? He had privy to meetings. He was always quietly lurking in the background. So there's like shadow work here for you where for some reason, like you're there, right? This woman's here, but there's low significance on her. I'm just going to throw you up on the wheel, and if I hit you, I hit you. So there's low priority placed on her, but you're doing great things. I wonder if maybe you were even a spy, possibly back in the day, like Matahari. Um, Maybe that's why I was seeing like geishas and sort of this female servitude, quietly there, quietly present. Um, Yeah, you could have been a spy, relaying information. You have that in American history, right? The wife overheard a meeting, and so I think she personally ran through the woods to relay to save the lives. I could see that energy here with you. You're not being sneaky. It's just they don't realize that I am here and I'm listening and I'm not on the same page as you. I'm not on your side. My morals, my ethics are on the other side. Yeah, you stand for truth and love, right? Here we have peace and love. So you would be a spy to help end the war. You would be someone leaking knowledge to end, a financial scam or what are they called? A pyramid scheme, sorry, something like that. Like you would be a whistleblower for sure. You're someone that stands for truth, peace. But look how she's kind of like, again, this kind of spy energy, right? I'm collecting information, or you think I'm just here for one purpose, but here I am like filming you. You could be a private eye, private investigator. You could be an undercover agent as well. You might be drawn to the acting profession in modern times, because there is a degree, obviously, of acting here, right? Of pulling, of making them believe. You're making them believe so that you can get the info. So they're ill intent, but you're not ill intent. All right. Okay, talk about a whistleblower. Look at you. Look at you standing up. Immediately I see like everyone that stepped forward under the Me Too effort, or Lives Matters efforts. Back in the day, all of our parents, grandparents, relatives who also protested against the wars and standing up to kind of take down here. Because you can see sort of the CEO, right? He's kind of been torn. We have like the French Revolution, right? We have all these great examples of the people rising to push against the oppressed here. So you would have been part of that group. So back in the day, you would have, if you weren't the spy, you would have taken up arms to fight. But I feel like your fight was more, I'm going to do the quiet backdoor channels here. I don't see you fighting on the lines. Your fight was being in plain sight, but yet not being seen. Very, very smart, right? Okay. Yeah, here you are again. So now we're getting like security camera energy, right? We're getting CCTV. We're getting drone energy from this helicopter on this card this time. Recording this private investigation. I'm observing what's happening. I'm going to record and report back, right? They're observing, recording, reporting back. This is what's actually happening on the island. This is what's really happening on this rooftop. But you're not fighting, right? You're not directly engaged. You're relaying the information, your power of observation and relaying that information. Observation and documentation is your gift, your ability to kind of get in there, get out safely, right? In and out safely, to relay the insights. Okay, maybe that's why it's a lock, right? You're able to kind of unlock things. Okay. You might find yourself in this present life, like really good at tinkering with things. Like if gadgets and stuff stop working, you might have like a mind of how to get it back to work. You just kind of do, and you might not know how you kind of manage to do it, but I feel like you're someone who can solve sort of getting things to function again. That just kind of popped in suddenly. Okay, so let's see here. What are they saying here? Final card. As you walk out of your Akashic records here, I like how they always have an exit card. And for you guys, you can see, here's all your past soul lives, and here's you and your angels skating forward back out of the records from this original past life, your soul purpose, your original soul purpose, which is to not be quiet, right? You relay what you observe. If you observe something that doesn't sit right with you, you're someone that speaks up. You have the ability to speak up as well in the right in the right way, right? So that people take action. You're not someone that cries wolf. You're not someone that is stumbling over your words, right? You're able to communicate with clarity exactly what you saw, and it engages in a positive action being taken. I'm just pausing because I love how they're showing all these past lifetimes here. These can also be all the kind of lives touch, but I feel like they're trying to relate to me that for this group, the soul group, I feel like your soul lifetimes, the times that you've come back, are starting with the time period from Jesus onward, so year 0 onwards. So slightly younger souls here, because we aren't going further back than year 0 here. Still quite a ways back. We're in 2025 here. So, but you have maybe you had some quick lifetimes as well, because you're not someone that's afraid to speak up, right? So you may have been quickly persecuted back in the day. Here, this guy looks a little upset, so you may have been arrested or locked up. Maybe that's why there's a lock. Maybe that's why you're against locks these days, right? The lock is unlocked. Maybe you have been locked up before. Here we have like insane asylum kind of energy I'm getting. You were victorious. You're dancing victorious. Here you lived a long life. Maybe that was your more recent one. You finally unlocked how to get longevity as well as being victorious, speaking up. So you'll be able to succeed this time around. Long life, free of any kind of backlash, because you learned how to share the information you're gathering. You've learned how to present your documents. You've learned how to capture information, right, on film, written. You've unlocked that secret. That's a pretty nice message to end on, right? Your unique gift. Don't forget what your unique gift is. Power of observation and your power of documenting in order to influence the action, the appropriate positive action. So we'll end it there. Thank you for traveling with me, and I'll see you all in the next strip.